Okay, everybody, we're at the appointed hour. If I can get everybody to take their seats, please. Okay, everybody, welcome. Let me start with our Indigenous land acknowledgement. We would like to begin by acknowledging the land on which we gather, on which Peel operates, is within the territory lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit and the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations. For thousands of years, Indigenous peoples have inhabited and cared for this land and continue to do so. We are grateful to have this opportunity to work on this territory, and doing so respect the land's significance for all people in Peel. So welcome all. Start with my roll call. I believe everybody is present except Mayor Brown. Any declarations of conflict of interest? Seeing none. Approval of the minutes. We have the minutes from, and by the way, we're right into our Section 10 Ontario Provincial Police regular quarterly meeting, and that's the first item that we're dealing with in the minutes there too. So I have a recommendation that the minutes of the Ontario Provincial Police Section 10 board meeting held on February 28, 2025 be adopted as read, as moved by Al Boughton, seconded by Len Carby. All those in favor? That is carried. New business. Item 1, 2 on our agenda, OPP 2025 first quarter operational statistics analysis. Natalie, did you want to introduce this, or can we go right to your team that's ready to present and welcome as well first? Thank you. Over to you.
Good morning, Chair. If we can just at least put the statistics up on the board. I know that that was supplied for the first quarter, January to March, please. Thank you. As in past meetings, this is something that I'm presenting. If anyone has any questions in regards to it, can you make it known? And if not, I can certainly move on to the presentation.
And I first call, any call on questions? Seeing none, please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And good morning again. And to our PSB members and my Peel Regional Police colleagues, I also would like to make mention. I've got the Town of Caledon Councillor representing Ward 2, Mr. Dave Sheen, in the gallery here. And I want to say thank you for the opportunity to report back on the matter raised by Mr. Al Boughton at our last meeting. And I appreciate the thoughtful questions and concern expressed regarding the referral process to victim services, particularly in cases of domestic disturbances and assaults. And that's what our presentation today will be on. I'd like to make an introduction here. So we have our Central Region Victim Response Support Unit Manager, Detective Staff Sergeant Alex Keane, present before you. I'd like to say that I'm very proud of Alex. I've known him for a few years when he was a Detective Sergeant in Southern Georgian Bay Detachment under my command. And 3 weeks ago, he just got promoted to Detective Staff Sergeant. So Alex, congratulations. And this will be much easier than your interview. And seated beside him from Caledon Detachment is my Detachment Abuse Issues Investigator, Detective Constable Laurie Moynihan. And seated beside Councillor Sheen is Program Manager of Caledon Dufferin Victim Services, Ms. Pina Marino. And they're going to talk about that clarification of referral statistics and the context of the referral process. And I'm going to pass it over to Alex and Laurie, please.
Thank you. And to the board, thank you. Appreciate you having us here to present today. Bear with me as I... Okay, great. In your previous police service board meeting, I believe Mr. Botten inquired about two questions. How were victim services being accessed in Caledon, as well as the statistics from that quarterly report, which I've highlighted a couple of interests here on the screen. How accurate were they, or were they accurate? I'd like to answer the first question. How do clients access victim services in Caledon? And then I'll move to the statistics after that. Caledon Dufferin Victim Services was established in 1993 and currently has a MOU with the OPP to work collaboratively to support victims of crime. Victim services in Caledon Dufferin are accessed through a number of pathways. One of them is that which the OPP reports on, which is our victim services referrals from our own records management system. But like victim services elsewhere, there are multiple pathways. So victims often walk in to the detachment, which is actually where Caledon Dufferin Victim Services is located within Caledon OPP detachment. They also come through web referrals. There's just a snip from the Caledon Dufferin Victim Services website there, as well as a 24-hour crisis line. So what the OPP reports on in terms of victim services referrals is only a small portion of the total number of victim services clients within Caledon. And I will mention Caledon Dufferin Victim Services reports in the same 2024 Q4 quarter 384 referrals, 179 of which are IPV related. So in terms of how that relates to the total number of referrals reported on by the OPP, I think you'd actually see that they're pretty close. I think we were just over 400 referrals through our internal system. And what this shows us is that the people in the town are accessing victim services at approximately the rate that we would expect. They're just not always accessing them directly through the OPP. In terms of my role and how the OPP works collaboratively with victim services, I will just briefly mention my role as the Victim Response Support Unit Coordinator for Central Region, is to provide consultation and training to OPP members through our detachment abuse issues investigators to essentially to realize the OPP's victim response support strategy. So we're focused on victim support, investigative excellence, and oversight. This is part of our OPP strategic plan. The detachment abuse issues investigators were relatively newly conceived in late 2024. I think, again, as it relates to 2024 Q4 statistics, the abuse issues coordinators in OPP had program had just rolled out. And in many cases, correct me if I'm wrong, but they would have been in training through a lot of that time period in 2024 Q4. So these positions are created in recognition of the fact that intimate partner violence is a serious and pervasive problem in all of our communities. And the OPP has a role to play working with victim services and other community partners to support and victims of crime and prevent crime. So the abuse issues coordinator's role really relates to reviewing and providing oversight and guidance for every intimate partner violence incident within their detachment area, as well as doing training at the detachment level. And they essentially have become subject matter experts by way of receiving specialized training. So specialized training in intimate partner violence, but also child abuse, sexual assault and abuse, human trafficking, interviewing, and they've become a resource for all detachment members to draw on, as we know that intimate partner violence incidents are continually going up. So as it relates to those 2024 fourth quarter statistics, and are they accurate? It's a yes and no. So the OPP referral statistics is taken from our victim services notification form plugin. If I say plugin, I'm referring to a report embedded within our records management system. It's mandatory for every intimate partner violence incident, as well as any incident essentially involving a crime against a person where there's a victim. So these are, in most cases, completed by the original reporting officer. And we know that getting victims to connect early on in the process can be a challenge. And so it's not uncommon to see that that initial referral rate is a little bit lower. Unfortunately, that report is always there, that initial one that maybe had declined. Part of what Lori does is following up in the days, within a week generally, for any intimate partner violence incident or criminal assaults, other incidents that may be IPV but are not categorized as such because they're also maybe a mischief or a breach of conditions, things like that. And any time that victims are declining victim service referrals, Lori is following up with them and trying to get them to take that referral after the fact. Now, unfortunately, that original declined report still exists. So in that scenario where the victim has actually accepted the referral, the rate is still only going to show as 50%. There are some other challenges with where we take this statistic from. Another one is, another issue is, we often deal with the same parties on multiple occasions over and over again. So that initial, in 2024 Q4, we had one family that we had dealt with 9 times. Victim services was accepted on the first occasion, but it was declined in subsequent ones because victim services was already actively working with the family. So again, unfortunately, we can't account, when we take the stat from this report, we can't account for those incidents where, that's hardly the only family or persons that we would have repeat visits with. So that's an issue with our stat. And then finally, as I alluded to earlier when I talked about the different routes into Caledon Dufferin Victim Services, walk-ins, web referrals, crisis calls, we can't count those. We don't have access to that data. So what we're reporting on is the people who've accessed victim services directly through our reporting system. We know that many citizens in the community are accessing victim services through those alternate pathways. So having said that, that statistic is accurate in terms of where it reports from, but it can't capture the totality of the data. And I just wanted to highlight here, as I get close to wrapping up, that within Caledon Dufferin Victim Services, their data shows that they're getting referrals at about the rate that we would actually expect if almost every single person we deal with is accessing those services. They're just not always doing it through our pathway. I just wanted to highlight those 2024 Q4 statistics. If we look at that same quarter over the past 3 years, we can see that our rates, our number of incidents are increasing over a 3-year span. It's about a 40% increase, but the rate of people accepting victim services is increasing at a higher rate. It's increasing at a rate of about 50%, or up to about 50%. So more people are taking our acceptances, or sorry, taking our referrals. And I think in the 2025 Q1, again, we can see that even more people, as the abuse issues program has come into full effect, we're seeing even more acceptances through our tool. Our overall victim services referral acceptance rate is up to 49%, 46% for intimate partners violence occurrences, 55% for assault. So we are seeing that increase over time, and I expect it will continue to do so. Again, as the abuse issues coordinator program has come into full effect, as their processes and partnership grows with Calvin Dufferin Victim Services. So that's all I have. Subject to any questions.
Any questions at this time? Mr. Bowden.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. Thanks for the presentation. My concern on it, and I've been involved with victim services in Peel for a long time before I was on this board. My concern is because of the geographic size of Caledon, and if an incident takes place in a townhouse in Bolton, and there's a problem, the neighbors know and they can have eyes on it, and if another incident takes place, somebody might hear a person scream or call out for that poor person is like on an island, and nobody's going to hear them, and they feel so isolated. So my question that I brought up to Commander Major was my concern that they're not accepting the help, and then they're out somewhere where if there's a scream, nobody's going to hear it. So I just want to make sure, that there are resources available, and I think, Laura, best for you, the follow-up portion, that you have to follow it up, because and we know from our own folks here in Peel, once there's one event, a lot of times there's another and another and another. And you respond that evening or that afternoon, and then you go away. It's very likely there's going to be another event behind it, and another and another and another, and then we know it escalates each time. So that's great. Thanks for being here, Commander. Thank you for doing that. As I say, the folks in Caledon, I just want to make sure that OPP is all over it, and it looks like you do have a great plan. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Carby.
Thank you, Chair. And first of all, congratulations, Detective Sergeant, on the recent promotion. While I was listening, something kind of piqued my interest. Thanks for the transparency and kind of reporting that the data that we're looking at may not be as reliable based on the system we're using to collect that data, and your inability to go in and change a decline to accept and all of that, right? So, but from where I sit, I have to depend on that data to give me an idea of what's really happening. So are you aware of any plans to fix that systemic issue of the data collection so that we can have more reliable data?
Yes, I guess through the chair. As a result of Mr. Botton's inquiry, we have been actually working with our OPP Statistics and Data Unit, who have acknowledged that this is a challenge. There are some potential alternatives. There are other ways to capture some of that data. It can be a little bit complex, and it can be a little bit complex to capture, but the OPP is aware and working on it, is the best I can say to that. But this actually has highlighted an issue that I expect may have gone unnoticed for longer. So,
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation. I have receipt moved by Mr. Boughton, seconded by Mr. Carby. Oh, sorry. Did you want to top that up, Natalie, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, and thank you to my team. And thank you again for bringing this forward, because this has been a task, and Alex is very excited. He has a lot of innovative approaches, and now within his position, he has oversight of several of our detachments in our region, but we did definitely see an area for improvement. So this just goes to having our members of our board to be reviewing statistics and asking those questions. So we're very thrilled that we have another project to be looking into. I know that this presentation also, Chair, is being video and recorded. And I just thought I would put in a plug for our Caledon and Dufferin Victim Services, because we do have people listening. So again, anyone who needs assistance, I just wanted to mention that our service is 24/7 crisis intervention. They can support with safety planning and emotional support and trauma-informed care, provide information and referrals to community and government services, assistance in navigating the justice system, including court accompaniment, and the Victim Quick Response Program for eligible victims needing urgent financial support. And lastly, personalized service plans, again, with victim-centered and culturally competent approach. I also, like my Peel partners, police partners, we in Caledon are experiencing an increase in our diverse community of IPV incidents. And if you saw, could we just go back to the slide just prior to that? You will see from 2022, and again, the top graph shows October to December, so that's Q4, there has been an increase in the light blue color. Quarter. So that is a very important stat collection that we're doing. And I would like to put it forward to my friend, the chief, that in speaking with Lori, if there is an opportunity for a job shadow, just to check out your response model with your IPV unit and the Safe Center of Peel to see how you do business. And I invite your team to come to Caledon to also see how we do our structure as well. And from that, our last quarter report, there was a presentation with Inspector Ian Harloff, and that was with the Strategic and Tactical Enforcement Policing Program, the STEP program. And I was very impressed with that presentation, and I thank you, Chief, for supporting him along with Detective Matt Boycott. They came last month to our NCO meeting, so they addressed probably a dozen sergeants about the STEP program, because our jurisdictions sometimes don't necessarily have those boundaries. And it aligned so well with our Organized Crime Enforcement Bureau Detective Inspector Scott Wade, who also talked about our provincial auto theft team. And my command staff from region, my chief and superintendents were present as well, which just highlighted that as Peel region grows, Caledon's also experiencing some of those pressures. And I just wanted to say thank you for that. And I look forward to more of a collaborative approach with your service. So thank you.
Through the chair, and thank you, Commander. And the answer, obviously, Natalie, is absolutely yes. Maybe after we're done today, I'll connect Nick through Nick, and Mark DePat will make sure we can do the reciprocal connection on IPV. I think there are a lot of opportunities, and I can just say to the board, since Natalie's arrival, obviously we've had a great relationship with the OPP detachment, but it continues to grow in so many different ways. So I appreciate you highlighting those opportunities.
Al, one more thought.
Outside of this report, yesterday at noon at the corner of King and 10, I was there for lunch, and an OPP cruiser was there. And as I am wont to do, I always go over and speak to them, identify myself, and thank them for their service. The constable was there, 6 months on the job, and South Asian, just the nicest guy. And so I said, "What are you doing today?" He says, we're working with Peel. There's a stolen vehicle they think is coming this way. And he described what the vehicle was and doing that. It's nice to see. Here's the OPP working obviously actively with Peel, and to see that communication. So that level of cooperation, if we can take it to the IPV as well. But he was a delightful young guy, just on the job 6 months. He told me it's so nice to see that cooperation between OPP and PRP. So that was great.
Thank you. The only other thing that I would add is, and pardon the pun because it may be my worst one ever, but I hope we don't become victims of our own success, which is to say, I can't even imagine the courage that it must take if you're a newer Canadian coming to Canada and you learn about our ways in different cultures and what's acceptable and not. And rightly so, it's an evolution for all of us. And then you say, maybe I do have a challenge. I have an intimate partner, so I make the call. I can't even imagine the courage it takes to do that. But then we're not there to provide all the services when they've taken that step to have the courage to make the call. And I would hope that never happens. We can't allow that to happen because they've taken that hard first step and we have an obligation to help. So as chair and on behalf of our board, let me say that pretty plain, plump, and proper, that is our number one goal. Thanks to the courageous people that are reaching out and saying, maybe our circumstance should be better and we're here to try and help and we have to be there to help. I also want to acknowledge Dave Sheen. He's been here again, a local councillor, and all the work that he's done on this file and so many others, and our friends from Victim Services in Caledon. Caledon's a special place to me and a lot of us. Lovely rural setting, pastoral in many ways, and yet becoming urbanized in many other ways as well. And we have to understand that and be very sensitive. So good work on everybody's part, more to be done. With that, we have received the reports, and that concludes all the presentations with regards to our Section 10 and Caledon detachment. So I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn, moved by Mr. Boughton, seconded by Vice Chair Coley. All those in favor, that is carried. Thank you all. And we'll take a moment now and go right into our regular agenda for the Peel Police Services Board, Friday, May 23. First item I have is the roll call. All members are present except Mayor Brown. Do I have any declarations of conflict of interest from my colleagues? Seeing none, Chief's update, over to you, Chief.
Thank you very much, Chair. And I just want to start perhaps with Deputy Mark DePatt, and then Staff Sergeant Hubie Hilt, and then actually maybe Mark, Lauren, and then Hubie, if that works. Sorry, I think I demoted Hubie about 15 years back now. It's a reboot. You got to stay another 15 years now. Staff Superintendent Hilt, sorry.
Thank you, Chief, and through you, Chair. Good morning, board members. I wanted to provide an update again on Project 300, but more specifically on March 16th, a week ago, Class 2025-01 recruit graduation ceremony was held in Mississauga. 59 constables were officially sworn in. They come from very diverse backgrounds, experiences, and vocations. I'd like to thank the members of the Police Services Board that were there in attendance, along with our elected officials. There are too many to even mention, including the Ministry of the Solicitor General himself and his leadership team, and of course, members of the Peel Regional Police Association through President Adrian Woolley. The 59 candidates that graduated last week completed a very competitive selection process. Rigorous training that isn't only mandated through the province, but training that has been specifically curated and tailored to support our very unique community and meet the demands, our very unique demands here in the region of Peel. All of these candidates have now deployed under Deputy Chief Mark Andrews' area. These are boots on the ground and are deployed at the divisions in Mississauga and Brampton. They'll spend the next few months with a field training officer. We wish them all success and thank them for choosing Peel Regional Police as their employer of choice. And later on in the agenda, there will be a presentation by Inspector Elaine Fowler on why Peel Police is the employer of choice. So thank you very much for that.
Perfect. Thank you. Good morning, board members. Through the chair, I just have a brief update from our fleet bureau. In keeping with our efforts to be innovative and progressive, including in our green and sustainable approach to our infrastructure initiatives, which of course include our new builds, our new divisions across the region. Since our last board meeting, the service deployed our first fully electric vehicle for patrol purposes. The first of two the service has acquired, with a focus to thoughtfully expanding our automotive fleet alongside the growth of the service and the region. It's the 2024 GM Chevrolet Blazer electric police pursuit vehicle. It's the first police-rated electric pursuit vehicle on the market, and it is engineered to fulfill all the requirements of a traditional internal combustion engine powered vehicle. PRP, I'm proud to say, is the first large police service in Canada to deploy and trial an EV in a marked patrol capacity. On that, this implementation is being spearheaded through a very structured pilot project aimed at evaluating the practicality of an electric vehicle for daily police patrols, such as assessing battery performance during active duty and, of course, in the winter months. The board will recall this innovation isn't new for our service in this space. It builds on the efforts that began in 2020 when the service became one of the first in the country to introduce fully marked hybrid vehicles for patrol. To date, this fleet includes 192 hybrid vehicles with 133 dedicated to patrol duties. Additionally, there are 5 electric vehicles in use, comprising of 4 non-patrol in addition to the one I'm mentioning to you this morning. Lastly, the region of Peel, of course, as you will also know, is committed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 45% below 2010 levels by 2030. While the policing sector broadly is not subject to these same requirements, being Peel and trying to always look to how we can be progressive and innovative, we continue to look for opportunities where we can contribute in that space and continue to green our operations, however that may look. But of course, without compromising and in fact continuing to prioritize, of course, the continuity and optimization of our service delivery. With that in mind, between 2022 and 2023, I just want to leave the board with the fact that the PRP achieved a 1.2% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions for facilities and fleet, and notably emissions in our fleet specifically in 2023 were approximately 11% lower than the region's 2010 baseline. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Lauren. Staff Superintendent Hiltz does have an update. As you know, we've had our launch for Project Erase, and it's that type of year. We're working with a lot of commercial properties right across the region with concerns about, obviously, the car rallies, street racing, and everything that stems from it. So Hubie has been obviously the lead for us organizationally with Mark Andrews across the GTA. So Hubie, please.
Thank you, Chief. And through you, Chair, good morning. I'm pleased to provide the board with an update on Project Erase. As a reminder, Project Erase stands for Eliminate Racing Activity on Streets Everywhere. This initiative is a collaborative effort involving several law enforcement agencies across the Greater Toronto Area. As the Chief mentioned, on May 13th, we officially launched Project Erase at Jacuzzi Park in the city of Brampton, led by Deputy Mark Andrews, alongside our policing partners and our elected officials from Brampton, Mississauga, and the members of the Peel Regional Police Services Board, and I thank you for your support. Stunt driving and street racing are issues that affect many areas. This is why Project Erase serves as both an awareness and enforcement campaign conducted jointly by police services throughout Ontario. This year, Peel Regional Police is the lead agency, collaborating with officers from Toronto, York, OPP, Durham, Halton, and this year, Hamilton has joined. This campaign aims to remind the public that street racing is illegal and poses significant danger to everyone's safety on the roadway. Often incidents of stunt driving and street racing are organized events coordinated through social media where drivers take over roadways, intersections, and parking lots. As part of the program strategy, officers have identified hot spot locations throughout the Greater Toronto Area and focused their efforts on those areas. All partner agencies allocate substantial resources to this initiative. In both current and previous projects, we have observed reduction in community complaints and street racing activity throughout our region. I'll share with you a few updates, statistics for 2025. To date, we've laid over 489 provincial offense charges. We have stopped and investigated over 211 vehicles. We have laid over 35 stunt driving charges. Noise-making tickets, we've laid 23. We've seized over 41 vehicles. We've laid over 11 criminal code offenses. We've attended over 40 locations. And just to break it down a little further to show the return on investment in our area, we've laid over 543 provincial offense notices within the Region of Peel. This just shows our commitment to supporting the Region of Peel's Vision Zero plan for road safety. Together, through collaborated efforts of all police services involved, we will make a significant difference in keeping Ontario streets safe and enjoyable for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Did you have any, because I have some questions, and then I'll come right back to you, Chief. First up, Mr. Carby, please.
Thank you, Chair. And I know there's more on the Chief's report, but I did want to acknowledge the volume of updates that we get from our Chief is a clear indication of the amount of work that is being done to keep our community safe. I'll speak specifically about the new officers. I had the privilege of being at the graduation with the 59 officers, and the only comment I will add to Deputy Chief Mark's update is the quality of the new recruits that I saw when each person's bio was being read. It was just phenomenal, the quality of people that we're bringing into the service. So I want to commend the recruiting team for finding these quality people to bring them on board. So congratulations to the team there. And I also want to speak about the Countering Hate Symposium, which I had the opportunity of participating in only yesterday, actually, and congratulate Deputy Chief Mark DePat and his team for putting on that symposium, which I think had maybe over 200 community partners in the room talking about the value of addressing hate and hate crimes in our community. And it speaks to, you know, the fact that we're not just focusing on apprehension, but leaning into prevention. And it clearly, you know, PRP and of course the Safe City Mississauga, which were the two main organizations putting on this event. The collaboration that's happening there, again, is phenomenal. Thank you for the work you're doing there. And to all the community partners out there who are leaning into collaboration with PRP to make our community safer. Congratulations and thank you for all the work you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden.
Thank you, and through you, Chair.
Because I think Deputy DePat may have had a thought on that comment. But Deputy, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to punctuate what Mr. Carby had mentioned about Safe City Mississauga. They are an incredible partner with the Countering Hate Committee and program that we've established. In fact, Mr. Gerald Adad from Safe City Mississauga is in the audience today just to highlight that it is an incredible community partnership, and they're supporting us even today.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. A couple of comments. First, Deputy Jackson, on the electric vehicles. And when I spoke about this the last time, I actually had one that was, you know, a plug-in, and I don't have it anymore. I'm going to be the cautious guy to say we got to have big eyes on this going forward, particularly when our officers do 12-hour shifts. This is Canada, and you got a lot of stuff in those cruisers all the time. And I'm not just talking on the outside lights and all the things that you have. So who's ever going to have eyes on this, got to have big eyes on it and see what the real battery life is and what the vehicles can and can't do. I think for some staff, people who aren't out there 12 hours a day, I think the electric is a great idea. And I think everybody's been following that Honda in Alliston is moving away from the electric and concentrating on hybrid, and the Stellantis in Windsor is announced, and they're stopping the production of their electric vehicles. And so everybody got on the bandwagon, and now there's a lot of people that are jumping off the bandwagon. So just be careful on it and make sure who's ever got eyeballs on it are presenting the facts as it relates to 12 hours. And then we also want to know what's the charge time. So if you have it out for 12 hours and you do a shift change, how long is that vehicle going to be down getting charged before it's available again? Does that mean we lose that vehicle for 12 more hours? So we have to have twice as many vehicles because of charge times, et cetera. So I'd just say be careful and cautious and thoughtful on a going forward basis. Don't just hop on the electric bandwagon because it's right. You know, we think it's the right thing to do. So I would leave that. And the other thing is on the erase part of it. As a lot of people in this room know, I'm a car guy. And I've been a member of the Corvette Club of Ontario for 35 years, and there's a lot of those people in that club who did a lot of street racing over the years. Not me, but there was a lot of them who did it. If there's an alternative, which we do at the Corvette Club of Ontario, we have track days. And if you can get some of these people who are doing the street racing and give them an alternative, in other words, a place to go. And there are some good tracks around here. As you know, we have it in St. Thomas and Cayuga and Mosport. The kids need to have an alternative because a lot of them, I don't think they even know. The cost of a track day is a heck of a lot lower than trying to get your car out of the that's being impounded, and the cost of the tickets and the lawyers and all that. I think we need to find a way to get that information to these street racers and say, here's an alternate plan. So, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I think Lauren might have had a thought on your previous comment. Lauren, please.
Sure. Thank you through the chair. And thank you, Mr. Boughton, for your comments as always. And if nothing else, I just want to leave with this comment of, as always, absolutely hear and appreciate the focus. And what I want to make sure the board certainly knows is that the starting place isn't, we will electrify our entire fleet. We are absolutely starting from a point of, is it feasible to electrify our fleet? If so, how and when and for what purpose? And that there is a very rigorous structure to this pilot through which it comes right to me. And any decisions going forward, will be brought forward to this team and the board. And perhaps we can take it away as, perhaps in a separate setting, walk the board through what this pilot looks like and its progress as we move along. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief, I apologize. I see seat 33, but I don't acknowledge this. Oh, there it is. It's way over there. Okay.
I've been demoted, and no one
On
knows
my
why.
list, on my list, you don't exist. But Hubie, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chair. And through you, Chair, I just wanted to comment on the erase. Just to let you know that when we are engaging with the community at these car rallies and meets, we do have informal discussions in relation to education and applicable laws and suggestions for alternative behavior. On that, Superintendent Tawfik Saliba and Inspector Nagdagil are working with corporate communications and public affairs on how to get this more formal education piece. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councillor Mahoney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the information, all of the information. But just speaking to erase from a community perspective, it really is one of the biggest complaints we get in the community is the street racing, the aggressive driving. So I really do want to thank you for the efforts from Peel Regional Police on this initiative. And don't be afraid to brag about those stats, because that's something that we certainly do talk about to the community and all the good work that you're doing. But make sure that that's highlighted. I mean, the amount of impounded cars, the amount of people who are caught, it certainly makes a difference. I love the collaboration with the other services out there as well, which I often talk about to my community, but just want to get the message out. Let's talk about this one because it's making a difference and we need to continue. So thanks for your efforts.
Risking again, seat 29. I've got, please go ahead, Natalie.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick comment. I'm also a member of the Corvette Club of Ontario. Hope to see you out there this summer, sir. But I wanted to also thank Deputy Chief Andrews. We had seen each other at the community gala recently, and you had asked if I was going to be at the launch. And I was unfortunately not able to go, but I did inquire because sometimes the town of Caledon is, like, I'll say Caledon OPP, sorry, is forgotten. HSD, Highway Safety Division, is usually part of these launches. And I will say we don't really see a huge issue with street racing in the town. However, last fall, we did have a large gathering because PRP actually dispersed the crowd and they came into our area. So I will say that my traffic sergeant, Aaron Koch, who is part of the town of Caledon traffic enhancement team, did attend the launch. So I was very grateful that Caledon OPP did have a representative there, that we are part of that conversation as well. And most would probably know Highway Safety Division Sergeant Carrie Schmidt. with the OPP. Although he does not report to my detachment, I do have a communication officer. Carrie is the face of, I'm going to say, the OPP for social media, and has consistently engaged and educated through social media and other events about track days, about if you want to speed, take it to the track. So it is something that I just wanted to highlight that the OPP also, like PRP does, to highlight that there are safer locations to be doing that type of driving. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, through to the chief, one last call if you had anything else as we were finishing chief's updates. Okay, with that, we've sort of morphed into member questions and announcements. I'm going to follow up with one, maybe over to Rob. Got great news from our executive director regarding a very prestigious promotion for one of our colleagues. Rob, I'd like you to share that, please.
Thank you, Chair, and through you. I'm pleased to announce that the upcoming spring conference for the Ontario Association of Police Services Boards, which is the advocacy group for police service boards in Ontario, our own Al Boughton will be assuming the chair for a 3-year term beginning this year.
Okay, and Vice Chair Coley?
So first of all, congratulations to Mr. Boughton. Well deserved. Just a couple of updates as well on my end. May has been a great month for celebrating PRP, actually. So I know we just talked about recruit graduation, but I also wanted to mention that we all were able to attend the PRP Service Recognition Awards. And what was phenomenal was to see individuals from 5 years to 40 to 45 years. So thank you for making Peel your home. That says a lot about that. I also wanted to mention the auxiliary service banquet that myself and Mr. Khan attended, and I was so amazed at the amount of hours. There was an individual at 45 years for volunteering with Peel Police. So we're really lucky and we're thankful, because volunteering and giving your time, you're taking that away from everything else that you're doing, and you're choosing to give that to Peel Police. So it means a lot. And I just wanted to maybe turn it over to Deputy DePatt just to comment on that as well.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Thank you for your kind words, Vice Chair Cole. The Auxiliary Bureau is a program that we've had in place for so many years. We have over 140 auxiliary members. It really is a testament to the adage that the police are the community and the community are the police. You will note that the banquet and our graduations happen in the evening, because so many of the people that are part of the auxiliary program have full-time jobs. So they're literally dedicating their personal time to support community safety. Not only that, they are really augmenting and enhancing our service delivery, because our frontline officers need to respond to the calls that are most important, that bring the most pressures. Our auxiliary officers are the ones that are now doing the tasks that frontline officers traditionally used to do. So it's an incredible help. And beyond that, you will also hear a story later on from one of our members who started off as an auxiliary officer and now chose Peel Regional Police to become a constable. It's an incredible opportunity for people to become involved in policing, and he'll tell his story later as to why he chose Peel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just two more. I wanted to congratulate Superintendent Dawn Orr on her retirement. I know it's not till June, but she may not be here at the June board meeting. So that's why I wanted to do a big shout out. I don't know if many of you know, she was the first woman in the tactical unit. We're really lucky for leadership like this. And I know that she's been a mentor to a lot. And I wanted to actually turn it over to Chief Nish. I know you wanted to say a few words as well.
Thank you, Vice Chair Coley, and Dawn was not obviously expecting this, but we'd be remiss to not acknowledge her today too. Yes, you're correct. She is in June will be retiring. I do want to thank on behalf of entire Peel region and the police service, Dawn, for her contributions. She is not only one of the most credible police leaders within our organization, but nationally. She's a subject matter expert in her field, and as you've highlighted, 35 years ago she started with us, but was one of the first to enter the tactical team, but has served in every rank throughout it and commands the emergency support services under Deputy Milinovich. You know, like there's a lot of things that happen in this region, and we have amazing women and men. But you know, for us to go, you know, go to bed at night, and it's a shame because the people doing work 24/7, and it's because we trust the people that are leading them. And Dawn, you know, can't thank you enough for everything. More recently, we've, you know, obviously utilized her to come and showcase her for women in leadership. But the role you've done, Dawn, for this police service is, you know, we don't want you to go, right? But you know, there are other things after in policing to move through. So congratulations on behalf of all of us. Very appreciative of you. And to highlight, Don's son is one of our members, new members too. So the legacy continues. That's for sure.
I'd like to thank you, Smita, and thanks, Chief. Don, thank you for your service on behalf of the board, but I can't pass this opportunity up. Just one question. I know you weren't prepared for this, but 35 years in policing as a woman hired 35 years ago. How has it changed in 35 years?
Yes, good morning. I was totally not expecting this. The career has been absolutely amazing. I've been supported from day one, but I mean, we have progressed and we have gotten better, and we have so many things now in place. Women's internal support network that you know, young officers can join and they can grow and be mentored to become, you know, leaders in this organization in whatever field they desire. So, I mean, we have gotten better. I have seen changes, and they've all been positive changes, but I can say that I have been supported from day one, and it's been absolutely amazing, 35 years. And I will be sad to, you know, to walk out the door, but, you know, happy for everything that this organization has provided to me. But thank you.
Thank you for your service. Samit, anything further?
Yep, just, and by the way, as we mentioned women and leadership, I do want to highlight 30 by 30 every opportunity we get. So I'm excited for recruitment to do updates, but if you don't know anything about it, please do learn about this great initiative at Peel Police as well. And finally, I just, on behalf of the board, also wanted to welcome somebody new to our board staff and team, and to our executive director, Shivani Somalia, who's also joined the team. So Rob, if you wanted to maybe make a few comments there as well.
Just to that, we're very happy to have Shivani join the board office. You know, as the organization and the community continue to grow, so does the pressures and expectations on the board, and we just want to make sure that we have a full staff to be able to provide that support for the board. And we went through a pretty rigorous search to find Shivani, and we're very grateful to have her. And I'd be remiss not to also acknowledge our board manager, Angela Surrey, who's been doing double and sometimes triple duty in the interim. So thank you.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't piggyback on that. I'd pick up one specific. So we now have a full board staff of 3. As compared to some other folks that we know of that maybe have a few more than 3. So Rob, to you and the whole team, to you pump out what you do with, for a long time 2, but now 3 people. Well done to all of you. Okay, Al, I think you had something. Smita, that was it at your end. Al, anything at your end?
Through you, Chair. Dawn, congratulations. Just to let you know, my wife got one of those e-bikes, you know, with a battery. You just push a button, it takes you up the hill, and then you can pretend you're cycling. I have learned how to ride it, and I'll be starting in June. You'll see me in front of your house, or I'll meet you down at the Koi Wolf, and we'll have coffees in the morning since I'm going to be around. So just to let you know, you're going to see me. Okay, keep the pass card for the new building with the helicopter, and maybe we could borrow that and take a flight in the afternoon. So I'd like to shout out to the PRPA president, Adrian Woolley, and your staff for the long service awards that we were at. And as the people came over, you know, 45 years and 40 and 35 and 30, you know, I always thank them for their service. It was amazing how many of your members, President Woolley, actually thanked us for supporting them and having more officers and all that. So you were obviously communicating very well to your members that we're trying to get the number of officers up, and the people in communications. I was there a week ago, and all of them are saying they were so happy about what we are doing and trying to get the numbers there to take some of the stress off. And I think that's a real credit to you and your team, that your members know that we're all in this together. So well done. There wasn't anybody coming across that stage who was angry or ugly or disappointed they had spent 5 to 45 years at PRP. They were what a great group. So kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you. Mr. Khan.
Good morning. I just want to say congratulations to Don as well. And this is directed to Deputy DePatt. I don't think it's on the agenda today, so I just wanted to say thank you for the really well-attended wellness strategy launch. We're removing all these stigmas we have around mental health, and the comfort level and the eagerness of everybody there to go into these breakout sessions was incredible. And the talk that you gave at the beginning was inspirational. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Mark, please.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. We really appreciate the support from the board and our police association through President Woolley to attend that event. Obviously, our philosophy is we can't perform in the manner that the community needs us to perform unless we really invest in our people and we support our people. This job gets really heavy at times, and we need to make sure that we focus intentionally on supporting them, whatever that looks like, because it's a career that a lot of our folks don't really know what the extremes are until they actually live it. And so thank you for the support, and we'll continue investing in our people and in the wellness programs.
Thank you. Okay, if that exhausts that, thank you for all, and a great day and a lot going on, and a lot of really good things going on. So well done to all. That concludes the introductions into our agenda. Now for the more formal component, the first item I have is the approval of the minutes for the Friday, April 25th, 2025 meeting, as moved by Vice Chair Coley and seconded by Mr. Khan. Anybody questions, omissions, corrections? Seeing none, it's been moved. All those in favor, that is carried. We have no deputations. Our first item for presentations is 3.1, meeting the needs and demands of our changing community through a culturally responsive approach to improving service delivery. A presentation to be provided by Superintendent Harry Dillon and Inspector Darren Duty. In 2023, Peel Regional Police launched the South Asian Community Engagement Initiative to develop a more culturally responsive approach to service delivery, and we're going to hear more about it.
Chair.
Welcome.
Chair, if
Please,
I could I take a moment to just allow our presenters to get set up and introduce them? As the board knows, community safety and well-being is foundational. It's in the board's strategic plan. There's so many different examples that highlight the success that we've had through multi-sector, collaborative, upstream initiatives that are intentional to develop strong relationships with our community. One such example that's going to be highlighted this morning for you is the, of course, now I forgot the acronym of it, but the CFST, which is one such example. It exemplifies our commitment to strengthen our relationship with the community that was sponsored through Deputy Mark Andrews as a pilot program. The success of this program has now evolved and has become a full-time program that naturally fits within the community safety and well-being pillar. And Superintendent Harry Dillon and Inspector Darren Duty are here now to provide a presentation on its positive impact and how the program is going to evolve going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Good morning, and through the chair, thank you for this opportunity for us to talk about some of the work that we've done to address the needs of our changing community. This presentation is simply about recognizing that our community no longer looks like it did 20, 10, or even 5 years ago. And as such, as a policing organization, and we should no longer be operating that way, and we should be in a position to provide services to the unique communities that we have here in Brampton and Mississauga. This presentation will outline our organization's commitment to applying a culturally responsive lens on how we provide service to our very unique community here in Peel. And when we look at our region, with census in 2021, approximately 1.5 million. We know it's grown with the growth we've seen over the last few years here in Brampton, Mississauga. Very diverse community. Our commitment was to ensure that we were providing and addressing the needs of all of our community. But we had to start somewhere, and that's where when we look at that 1.5 million or more, almost 40% of our residents that live here in Brampton and Mississauga identify as being South Asian. So that's where we started, and that's where the South Asian Community Engagement Initiative was born. And when I talk about culturally responsive policing, and really what it comes down to is you need to understand the need. In order for you to understand the needs of your community, you need to know what the makeup of your community is. When you know what the makeup of your community is, then you're able to address their specific needs, which results in improved service delivery, which builds trust and strengthens partnerships. It's also about tailoring our approach, not only to the unique cultural characteristics of our community, but also being able to adapt on how we serve our service delivery model, on how we communicate, how we engage, and how we address those respective needs. So our goal, and when we embarked on this in early 2023, our goal was simple. It was to apply this lens and make sure that we were in a position to support every resident in our very diverse community here in Brampton, Mississauga. So we started with our South Asian community. We wanted to do a very robust consultation engagement process with the South Asian community, but we also wanted to create a template and a framework so that we were able to quickly adapt and adjust so we could support all of our diverse communities and really all of our community here in Brampton, Mississauga. This consultation process involved direct one-on-one meetings and consultations with community leaders, community groups, religious leaders and religious groups, an environmental scan where we connected with policing agencies across the country with large diasporas, as well as communities and community groups in those diasporas or in those specific regions and areas. We utilized and involved an independent third-party company to conduct a community survey as well as focus group sessions. We wanted to ensure what we were doing, we were hearing the same thing, and it was also from the perspective of ensuring that we were being transparent in our process and in our consultation process. We had open town halls that we had invited put out to the entire community, as well as internal engagement with our South Asian Internal Support Network, but also with our different investigative, administrative, frontline areas, so we could get feedback from some of our frontline people that are having that immediate engagement with the community. And once we were done this, and near the end of us closing off on this consultation process, we involved an independent academic who evaluated our process and validated the outcomes that had come out from this process that we were involved in, this engagement process. And what I can tell you is that from this engagement process, which was completely community driven, and I can tell you was community solution, came two major organizational shifts and changes on how we provide service and how we support our community here in Peel. One is the cross-functional support team, which is a policy center on cross-functional policing, which ensures that we have resources in place that can support our entire organization and our entire community. And another big change that Darren will speak to is the Community Ambassador Program. And what I can tell you is when we were getting this feedback from the community, when this information was coming in, when there was recommendations and they made sense, we made changes. So outside of these two big organizational shifts, we have implemented quite a bit of different recommendations from the community on how to better serve them. So I'll turn it over to Darren, who's going to speak to you about the two major shifts.
Thank you, Superintendent Dillon. So to explain kind of more what those organizational changes are, really what they are is the evolution of and a transition from the South Asian Community Engagement Team to the cross-functional support team. This is a team which serves as a dedicated point of contact that responds to and addresses the specific needs of our community across all aspects. It really allows us to tailor our approach to unique service delivery needs of our community. This team has been operational since July 1st of last year, at the conclusion of our South Asian Community Engagement Initiative and Summit. And having this team, as you can see up on the screen, has allowed us to continue with our culturally responsive approach and strategic engagement with not just our South Asian community, but with all of our communities. And we've had that opportunity to collaborate with many different community groups and members, and we continue to do that as we build out on that outreach. And with that approach and engagement, our objective and our purpose is to integrate culturally responsive approaches and practices throughout the organization. In addition, having this operational team, this has evolved and become a truly service-wide support and resource where we have assisted with numerous criminal investigations. My team has been able to bring awareness to some of the issues that are impacting our community so that we can better prepare and respond accordingly to those needs, as well as they've worked with different areas of the organization to tailor our response, tailor our processes so that we can be more efficient and effective. And we're able to do that through what we call the Community Ambassador Program. You see, during the South Asian Community Engagement Initiative, we heard from many of our community members, talked about their preferred use of social media platforms for communication, with WhatsApp groups standing out in particular. We heard from many community members that they weren't aware of some of the work we did. There was this need for crime prevention, crime awareness. And part of that, lack of understanding or lack of access and information was kind of a combination of not engaging with the police based on lack of trust, deeply rooted with experiences from other countries, but also not utilizing our access in traditional media platforms. So to address that, we tailored our approach and we created our own WhatsApp group, where we work with community members who have influence, who have a broad reach, and where we call ambassadors. And these ambassadors are conduits for the dissemination of key messaging, while they have that opportunity to report back to us on issues, trends, and challenges that they're seeing within their community. This has allowed us to greatly enhance and improve our communication while entering a space that some communities don't want us to be part of, not quite yet, but be able to enter that by doing so through our ambassadors so that we can get our messaging out. And just to kind of paint a picture as to where we're at with that, we currently have approximately 130 community ambassadors. And again, these are individuals and members of our community that have, that influence and broad reach, where we send out a weekly post with its crime prevention, crime awareness, key crime alerts. We've even ventured into missing and vulnerable persons to assist us with locating these individuals. And those ambassadors will then send it out to their contacts, to their groups. And I'm excited to say that we currently have a direct outreach of approximately 500,000 users through different members, groups, and organizations, and an indirect reach of over 1 million users. So when we look at the outcomes by having a cross-functional support team and this community ambassador in place, it allows us to remain attuned to the issues that are impacting our region, but by providing that real-time understanding of the community concerns. So again, we can be better prepared and respond accordingly. By doing the strategic engagements regularly with our community ambassadors, it allows us to continue to build and enhance the knowledge, skills, and capacity that are necessary for building culturally responsive practices. But I'm going to say even more important to sustain that. When our community changes, when our community evolves and their needs change, we're able to evolve. We're able to adapt accordingly to meet their needs. And all this collaboration and this partnership has greatly enhanced our trust with the communities and that relationship. So just in closing, I'm just going to turn it back over to Superintendent Dillon, close this off.
Thank you, Darren. I appreciate that. And through the chair, I can tell you that what we've done here and is established a policy center to better support all of our organization, which in turn completely supports our community. And in recognizing that, I know Gerald and Jazz are going to be reporting on the hate crime report later. We will also recognize that with hate crimes, that the impact that they have on our community. And in doing that, we are looking at centralizing and creating a policy center on hate crime investigations. And in doing that, what we'll be able to better do is have an understanding of what's happening across the region in neighboring jurisdictions. And our reassurance team under our diversity, equity, inclusion area is in the same area of CSWB. Having them positioned there and having the CFST as well as the hate crime team centralized will give us, will be in a better position to be able to provide that reassurance immediately to our victims as well as our community as a whole. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your presentation. I have a question from Vice Chair Cole.
More of a comment. Just first of all, thank you for the fantastic update. We've seen this from, I think, the iteration to you've been giving us updates throughout. And then we've seen this actually work, as in like all that work that's done with some situations where we actually saw the engagement, the relationships actually help resolve some situations also in Peel Region. So I want to first of all recognize that. I know the amount of hours you guys put in community consultations. I know so many groups actually met with you. What's phenomenal to see now after the relationship that's built is you're right about the ambassador program. I get messages now sent of where you've shared updates and now they're sending it back. So it's like a full circle that you're seeing it's working. And I think that you're engaging it. So I would say it's yet another innovative approach to say, our demographic has changed. How do we engage with them, and what do we do? And I think the fact that you're engaged the community ambassadors. I mean, I know many of us get approached at events to say I'm one of the community ambassadors, and I'm proud to be that. So thank you for all the work that you and the team have been doing. And I've seen it firsthand. I know many of us have, and I think it's I think it's making a real impact because what it's doing is lowering kind of the barriers and defenses, and it's becoming a relationship and a conversation now. So congratulations on the work that you're doing, and we continue to look forward to many of the updates. And Chief, I think it was one of the mandates that you said from day one, right? It's going to be about changing for the community and adapting to where we're going with. So, I mean, if you wanted to comment as well, I'll leave that.
Thank you, Vice Chair Colleen, through the chair. I do want to thank Harry and Darren and the team for pulling this together. If you think back, we got feedback from you as a board too about how information or the absence of information can be driven in those voids through informal networks, WhatsApp groups. Our traditional platforms don't work for, our broader community. It's highly, the attention drawn to us with international conflict, geopolitical issues, our communities, even as, recently as within the last week and a half, we had a high profile homicide where, the community in that particular community is drawing assumptions of and presuming motives, which, we were able to activate, the team is able to activate the CFST in a particular ethno community to provide reassurance, proper communication. And so these are the things we weren't able to do before. And I think they're understating it. We're really, this is being modeled in BC across other provinces. And the fact that it's transferable from one ethnocultural community because of its model policy program to you name it is actually the hallmark of it. And it wasn't there. Although we were doing a great job over the last 5 years, I think this is really, I do appreciate you taking time to come back and advise the board on how our progress has been. So thank you for the opportunity to do that, and thank you to the team.
Thank you. Mr. Carby.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you for the report, and congratulations. There's some recent promotions going on there. Good to see you. I want to just highlight, although you started with, talking about the genesis of the South Asian Initiative, I think it's important for the community also to understand that this doesn't just start here. Because I remember being part of, the Black Advisory Committee for many years prior to even being on the board. So this outreach to community has been going on for a long, long time. Seeing this particular initiative being born out of that is truly encouraging to know that we have kind of stayed the course in building those strong partnerships with community. So congratulations on that. When I look at the outcome slide, it speaks to items which are often very difficult to measure. It's hard to measure trust as an impact. It's hard to measure some of the other things, knowledge of the community and stuff. So I was wondering if there's any way we are building into any kind of metrics to show, well, how does this actually make our community safer? Are we experiencing less crimes as a result of these partnerships, and draw other lines of real outcomes or results from initiatives like these? And I know it's only been in for a year, so it's still early days in terms of this particular initiative, but I do want to see on an ongoing basis that the outcomes that we're reporting becomes a little bit more tangible in terms of how it's helping to result in a safer community.
Thank you for the question,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby. You highlight a great point. Qualitative measurement is always a challenge, and we are looking at a number of ways by utilizing the academic piece that Harry and Darren spoke of, but we're also looking at leveraging some really great technology, working with our partnership with Axon by using a tool that My90 that is almost a real-time survey tool that allows us to receive feedback from the community in real time about our interactions. We can discuss it more offline. But it's a fantastic way for us to gauge the quality interactions and to receive feedback in real time from our community.
Awesome. That I'm looking forward to, because again, at the end of the day, it's good to be able to report on these soft things. Yes, there's community feels more trust, but they also want to feel safer, and usually data helps us to prove that point. So looking forward to the reporting getting more granular, if you will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well done, gentlemen. The report moved for receipt by Vice Chair Coley, seconded by Mr. Kirby. All those in favor? That is carried. Thanks again, gentlemen. Takes us on item 3.2, recruitment presentation. Peel Police, a leading service and employer of choice, presentation to be provided by Inspector Fowler and Constable Alves.
Chair, if you don't mind, I'll
Please,
introduce
if you could
our
introduce it for us. Yes.
and a little bit of a preamble. The board's aware that there are so many different facets of our community that make it unique. The needs of the community and pressures that our community faces requires very thoughtful planning to ensure that we're effective. And it's got to start with recruiting. And it's got to be done through investment in training. In order for us to be successful, we have to find the right people that are dedicated to making a difference, because we are doing things different here at Peel Regional Police. Thanks again to the board for supporting our largest hiring initiative in our history. And Inspector Elaine Fowler is here to provide not only an update, but to highlight why Peel Regional Police should be the only choice for anyone considering a career in policing, and why PRP is a leading service. She is joined by Constable Jasanjit Gill, and he'll tell a little bit about his story and his journey with Peel Regional Police. But before they begin, I also want to acknowledge that there's a tremendous team in recruiting that has been part of Project 300, some of which are in the audience today, and some of which are listening, that have contributed greatly. And we're going to just continue the momentum. So with that, I'll turn it over to the presenters.
Good morning, through you, Chair. Thank you for the honor to be here to speak with you today. It's my privilege to present on both why Peel Regional Police is the leading service and the employer of choice. I'm going to provide a high-level overview on the overview of progress towards hiring 300 officers and the initiative supporting our 30 by 30 pledge, ensuring that we continue to meet the evolving needs of our community and our organization. So for Project 300, our hiring strategy is focused, it is proactive, and is community-driven. In 2024, our recruiting outreach team had attended 225 events across the region. And that is to engage directly with diverse potential applicants and promote policing as a rewarding career. So far in 2025, we've already attended 93 events. We've leveraged innovative tools and technology, including digital outreach, streamlined application platforms, and robust backgrounds and assessment practices to enhance both our recruitment processes and outcomes. We've also built strong partnership with key organizations such as schools, colleges, athletic teams, and community organizations to support long-term recruitment. We are attracting high caliber candidates who share our values of service, integrity, and accountability. So I'm pleased to report that we are on target for Project 300. So our first class of 80 recruits is currently at OPC, and they're scheduled to graduate in August. We additionally just hired our second 80 recruits that are going to be joining us on May the 30th. So we're right on target. I'm just going to talk about our 30 by 30 initiative. So Peel Regional Police is proud to be the signatory of the 30 by 30 pledge. This is a national commitment to increase the representation of women by 30% by the year of 2030. So I'm pleased to report that our numbers are increasing for women that we're hiring. So in 2022, we had 39 females that we hired. 34, we did have a little bit of a dip down to 34. But in 2024, we had a significant increase where we just hired 53 female members. So we are continuing that momentum for 2025 and beyond, because it is important that women here in Peel Region understands that Peel Regional Police, we are going to provide that thrive, that leadership, and the impact that they're going to have within our community and our organization. I would like to add, we're probably going to have to hire an additional 30 females just to replace Superintendent Don Orr's shoes. So I have been a proud member of Peel Regional Police for 23 years, and I can confidently say that this organization is the top police service to work for, and this is why. So we have been deeply committed to diversity and inclusion, building a team that reflects and respects the community that we serve. We have offered exceptional career growth and development opportunities through extensive training and advancement in specialized units and leadership roles. We provide competitive salaries and benefits, and we lead in innovation and technology. Our service, we actually take pride in our strong supportive culture. We're here to support each other, and we take honor in being able to represent our community and reflect the community that we serve. So I'm just going to touch on a few pathways that we offer into policing. And the first one that I want to talk about is our YIPI program, the Youth in Policing Initiative. So this is a paid opportunity for high school students between the ages of 15 and 18 years old to be employed here with Peel Regional Police. So they're going to learn about policing, they're going to have hands-on experience, and they're going to develop some leadership skills. We just received that we are going to be supported for 35 YIPIs this year, and that's through the Ministry of Children, Community, and Social Services. The second program I want to talk about is our cadet program. This is designed for young adults considering a career in policing. Cadets serve as supportive roles while gaining skills and experience that they need to become sworn officers. Our current complement of cadets with our service is 50. And the last pathway I want to touch on is our auxiliaries. I know we briefly touched on that earlier. This is a volunteer role for individuals 18 years and older. So they're going to support our frontline officers on their day-to-day responsibilities, as well as in community engagement. And just like Deputy Chief DePat said, we have over 140 auxiliary members. These pathways have been instrumental in recruiting the high caliber applications. So the auxiliary program is overseen by Sergeant Derek Davis, who's present here today with Staff Sergeant Maria Wilson. In the first class of 80 recruits that are at OPC, 8 of them came from the auxiliary program. The current class that we have started in May 30th, next week, 3 of them came from the auxiliary program. Our cadet program, in the last 2 recruits of 80, so 160 of our new recruits, 15 of them were former cadets. So these figures are a true testament of the value and effectiveness of these recruitment pathways. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to Constable Gill to share his inspiring journey through these pathways, which led us to his career as a police officer.
Thank you, Inspector. Good morning, through you, Chair. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Jashanjot Gill, and I had no family legacy in uniform or any early exposure in law enforcement. I came into this field with very little knowledge of policing, but what I did have was a deep desire to serve and contribute to the safety and well-being of our community. I was born and raised in Peel Region and had an interest in Peel Region in Peel Regional Police at an early age. As a middle school I had attended was across from 22 Division. From there, I started my research by exploring the Peel Police website, which was easy to navigate and offered a lot of information for me to be successful. My journey began in 2016 as an auxiliary officer with Peel. This was my first real step into this world, and I was both excited and unsure. But the experience quickly opened my eyes. I saw firsthand how much policing depends on community trust, professionalism, and empathy. I had the chance to stand shoulder and shoulder with officers at events, engage with residents, and understand what it truly means to wear the uniform. From there, I was fortunate enough to transition into the cadet program right after university. It was a pivotal moment. I learned the fundamental skills of modern policing, from report writing to supporting frontline units. But more than anything, I saw the human side of this job. I witnessed compassion, integrity, and resilience from officers who treated every call and every person with respect. Today, as a constable, I carry those lessons forward. Every shift is a new opportunity to build trust, protect the vulnerable, and support the diverse communities that make Peel so unique. I'm constantly reminded that policing is not just a career, it's a calling. And even without a policing background, someone like me was welcomed, trained, and empowered to serve with pride. I want to thank Peel Regional Police and this board for creating pathways for people like me. Diversity in our service of background, experience, and thought is what makes Peel stronger. Thank you for supporting officers at every stage of their journey, and I am proud to be one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I have some comments through the board. Vice Chair Coley.
First of all, thank you for that fantastic presentation. Congratulations to you, Inspector Elaine Fowler, on your promotion and taking over the recruitment team. And we're really excited to see all the things that are going to come in. And I think Constable Gill, thank you for sharing your journey. I think it'll be an inspiration to many. I can tell you from the auxiliary banquet and just seeing the new individuals that join, they're excited. They want to be part of it. So hopefully hearing what you're talking about sees kind of that track of where the opportunities are for them as they move forward. So thank you for sharing that. I just wanted a couple of comments. One is, when we throw out these numbers like 80 and 80 again, and then 300, what I want to, recognize and really put forth is the amount of work that this team is doing behind. Because when you hit a number of a team that was doing less than this before, maybe a year almost before, to now almost tripling the number, to thinking about how many you have to go through to then narrow down to who makes sense, to then deliver such high caliber new recruit grads and getting them through training. It is unreal, the work that's happening behind the scenes. And it's not always seen by everyone, but I do want to say, kudos to the team that's working behind it and all the work that's being put in. And I think even from the auxiliary team, thank you for all the work that you do for bringing in such phenomenal auxiliary officers as well. I've had a chance, and when you say the 92 events and the functions, I've had a chance to see them at many, many, and most recently, Inspector Fowler was there. We were at a joint event, which was a mothers and daughters event at Powerade Center, which was packed. And I will tell you, this table was like, they were like celebrities at the event. I mean, I couldn't believe there was mother-in-laws coming in saying, my daughter-in-law wants to be an officer, get her signed up. They were filling out forms with them, the coaching, the guidance. So I think being in the community, we can truly see, one is it makes them comfortable to have the conversation. I saw it firsthand, and you and the team were fantastic. The amount of work behind the team, because I know the team is only a certain size, and to deliver what you're delivering, that's phenomenal. So thank you.
Perfectly said, Vice Chair Coley. And with that, you've moved receipt of the presentation, seconded by Mr. Mahoney. Councillor Mahoney, all those in favor? That is carried. Thank you very, very much. Okay, that moves us on to new business. First item up, number 4, 2025 VCOM Group Annual Report. Deputy Chief Duarte, the Chief, did you want to top up the report? I know we have recommendation here.
Thank you, and through the chair, just a reminder that VCOM stands for voice communication. Voice communication is the critical means of communication for all our officers across the region. What you should know about VCOM is it's a partnership between regional entities, both of the cities, infrastructure, and 3 public safety agencies that include obviously the police, fire, and ambulance. It's a cost-saving arrangement that occurred about 27 years ago. It's in its 28th year of operation, which provides the state-of-the-art technology in terms of radio communications to all these partners. So they share in the cost and they share in the maintenance of it. And we're happy to provide the report that has to go through Regional Council through the Police Services Board. What I do want to denote on the report, and it's very, very important and crucial, as we move forward in a digital age, most of our communication is now via data. If you have a mobile phone, you know this. And the 911 call center, which has switched over 2 years ago now to Next Generation 911, uses mobile data to be able to transmit information to our officers. In fact, I like to say that data communications is just as important, if not more important, than voice communications these days in terms of getting some of that information over. We recently, over the last 2 days, have been unfortunately privy to a network outage by one of the large commercial carriers. Here in Peel Region, through the VCOM system, we built our own commercial network, which means that at no time when a commercial carrier goes down will we suffer interrupted service. In fact, we're the only ones in Canada to be able to do that. And so the VCOM report clearly dictates how we've done that in terms of a public safety broadband network. We've been advocating for this for public safety agencies across Canada for the last 4 years, and we have been reminded with the Rogers outage 2 years ago, and again with the Bell outage, how important that is for critical communications. We can't have people call 911 in this region, suffer a carrier outage, and not be able to transmit that information to our officers. It's imperative that we do that and continue to advocate. That information is contained with the report, and I respectfully give you that for your submission. Thanks.
Thank you. It is here with the recommendation. I have questions from, moved by Mr. Carby, seconded by Mr. Boughton. All those in favor, that is carried. Item 5, 2024 Corporate Risk Management Annual Public Report. Here for receipt. Chief, anything further to add?
No, I think we're prepared to answer any specific questions as it relates to the content, but it is our annual report, which usually outlines the general trends.
Thank you. Here for receipt, moved by Mr. Carby, seconded by Councillor Mahoney. All those in favor, that is carried. Item 6, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion 2024 Annual Hate-Motivated Crime Report. Here from Deputy Chief DePatt. Deputy Chief, anything you wanted to say before we deal with the data?
Thank you, Chair. I've invited our Manager of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Ms. Jazz Dillon, to provide some highlights of the report that's before the board. Ms. Dillon joined us in the fall of last year. Her timing was absolutely perfect to support the cross-functional support teams that you heard about earlier. She's an incredible addition to the team. I'd also like to acknowledge Superintendent Faraz Ismail in the audience this morning. As the board knows, Superintendent Ismail has presented this annual hate crime report many times in the past, and it's great to have him here to support Jazz. Over to you guys.
Welcome. Please proceed.
Good morning, and through you, Chair, thank you for this opportunity to present the 2024 Annual Hate-Motivated Crime Report. I'll begin with some of the data highlights. In 2024, it was recorded that we had 53,685 criminal code offenses. Of those, 166, or 0.31%, were designated as hate-motivated crimes. From the 166 hate-motivated crimes, 74, or 54%, actually led to criminal code charges. As you'll note in this chart, the number of reported hate-motivated crimes in our region increased from 162 in 2023 to 166 in 2024. When we consider the types of hate-motivated crimes, mischief continues to be the highest reported offense, and this includes nonviolent offenses such as damage to property and graffiti-related offenses. While the percentage of hate-motivated crimes remains unchanged year on year, there was a significant increase in the percentage of charges that have been laid. In 2023, 22% of these incidents led to charges being laid, whereas in 2024, we saw this figure rise to 45%. It's important to note that this increase in charges points to a variety of factors, including but not limited to a shift in the types and severity of the crimes that we're seeing, as well as enhancement of our investigators' understanding of hate-related offenses and their understanding of cultural nuances for diverse communities. Police data on hate reflects only those occurrences that come to the attention or are reported to police. It's a well-known fact that hate occurrences are often underreported to police. We know that trust is a factor in this. We also know that individuals have a variety of personal reasons why they don't feel comfortable to report these offenses. Pages are stuck. The chart above displays reported hate crimes broken down by motivation. You'll notice that crimes motivated by race and/or nationality continues to be the leading motivation, with 98 crimes motivated by this factor, representing a 14% increase from the previous year. This is followed by crimes motivated by religion at 62 incidents, which represent a decrease of 10%. And 22 crimes motivated by sexual orientation and gender identity, representing a 27% decrease. The next slide reflects hate crime victimization based on race and/or national and ethnic backgrounds. Of note, members of the region's Black communities continue to experience the highest reported victimization numbers, with 42 occurrences. The South Asian community represents the second highest, with 39 crimes reported for this particular community. In 2024, 62 of the 166 hate-motivated crimes reported to Peel Regional Police were targeting religious groups as either the sole or contributing factor as a motivation. The faiths most impacted were the Jewish faith, with 35 related incidents, and the Sikh faith, with 10 hate-motivated crimes. When we look at the supports and initiatives, hate-motivated crimes and incidents impact our community in several negative ways, including inspiring fear, marginalization, and a questioning of a sense of belonging for community members. To ensure that victims of hate-motivated crimes and incidents receive the necessary support and reassurance from PRP, and to help mitigate some of these negative concerns, PRP's reassurance protocol has been vital. This protocol has been in place since 2018 and continues to be well received by victims, the communities that are impacted, and also, I should mention, is often emulated by policing agencies across the country. A timely follow-up with victims and complainants of all hate-motivated crimes and hate incidents by a member of the DEI team ensures that there is an empathetic and supportive mechanism in place to actively listen and validate the emotions of victims. The DEI members can also offer coping mechanisms, discuss safety planning, and provide referrals for long-term supports such as social supports, victim services, and community-specific resources. And always, a supplementary report is included to the original occurrence to ensure that we have consistency and follow-up as required throughout the investigative process. Hate has no demographic. but victims certainly do. And the community they belong to is always impacted uniquely. Capturing and tracking this data is vital to understanding trends and providing us with insight on the impact to the victim, their loved ones, and to the community as a whole. As I mentioned, hate-motivated crimes and incidents are often underreported to police. But the importance of reporting cannot be stressed enough. We know that what is reported to us ultimately informs police response and the application of focused supports. Recognizing the mechanism for reporting can in itself become a barrier. The service has 3 pathways of reporting. This includes notifying through phone, either on the non-emergency line or through the 911 emergent situations or needs, and in person at any PRP divisional community station. And since 2024, through the online reporting tool. The online reporting tool in particular was implemented in an effort to address the accessibility of reporting to police, particularly for communities who are either not able to report through the other 2 mechanisms, or there's a lack of comfortability or trust of visiting a police station or making a phone call. While the online reporting tool is the most recent pathway, it's important to note that there will be no change or compromise to the PRP's response to service delivery, and all active or emergent needs will be diverted to communications or dispatch. In addition, DEI officers will also maintain their customer service model and ensure every online hate report receives follow-up and the applicable resources, a reassurance protocol. As a police service, our commitment to community remains steadfast, especially during times of heightened tension and fear caused by hate-motivated crimes and incidents. The reality is that hate crimes don't just target individuals. They impact entire communities. They erode feelings of safety and belonging. And that's why, as a policing agency, the response must be firm, visible, and inclusive of community supports. We continue to prioritize through thorough investigations, support for victims, and proactive measures to prevent harm. Because distrust of police can be a factor, we also understand that education and awareness for community as a whole is crucial in promoting comfortability to report these incidents. The DEI team continues to regularly and proactively engage with community in a number of ways. These engagements range from one-on-one conversations, group meetings, attendance at events and presentations, and proactive engagement not only addresses community concerns, but it's an opportunity to build trusting relationships and comfortability. Building trust through culturally responsive engagement, ongoing dialogue with faith and cultural leaders, and education around reporting occurrences will still be the end goal. And it's important to providing wraparound support to community. We recognize the emotional toll these incidents take and are working closely with our community partners to provide reassurance, promote resilience, and create safer spaces for all. This is about more than just safety. It's about ensuring every community knows that they are seen, they're heard, and they're protected. With that, it's my pleasure to invite Gerald Haddad to speak on the Countering Hate Committee initiative.
Thank you, Jazz, and good morning, Chair Anika and Police Service Board. So just as a quick review of the Countering Hate Initiative, so in 2023, Peel Regional Police founded the Countering Hate Committee, which is designed to bring together different community partners and community groups to make sure we had a diverse voice to inform the creation of the Countering Hate presentation, which we have spent the last year or so delivering out into the community. So Safe City Mississauga was able to be brought in to deliver this work thanks to funding from the proceeds of Crime Frontline Policing Grant. And since then, I'll show some of the deliverables and numbers in the next slide, but we've been working very hard to deliver these presentations across the region, so not just Mississauga, but also Brampton as well, building our train-the-trainer capacity, expanding our team as well as developing modules focused for youth and senior needs per some of the feedback that we received from last year's symposium. So, and we'll be rolling out those new modules in 2024. 2025. In 2025, we'll also be looking to review opportunities for new branding and marketing initiatives, and we'll be working with the different city partners who are also going to be taking part in those opportunities to spread awareness throughout both municipalities and the region as a whole. So in terms of some of the highlights, as I mentioned, Safe City Mississauga was able to expand our team. So the Countering Hate program through Safe City is managed by one manager, myself, and a new coordinator who is primarily responsible for the groundwork of delivering those presentations and training those new trainers as well. These presentations can still be administered by myself, by my coordinator, and of course, all the other members of our Countering Hate committee and any new trainers that are brought on. Just want to emphasize also the importance of that train-the-trainer approach because it allows us to empower communities to take this training and roll it out into their communities, to access communities that may not necessarily be able to access based on our individual intersectional identities or even their relations to the police. So it's a very important component of this program, and it's been crucial to the success we've seen thus far. So for those of you who were at the symposium yesterday, the numbers I had presented were actually from our March to March reporting year, in which I reported 60 presentations. But from March to today, we've actually been able to deliver more than that. And so what you'll see on the screen is actually we've delivered 80 presentations, reaching just over 2,600 community members across both Mississauga and Brampton. And as I mentioned, we have our youth and senior modules, which we are now rolling out and is now included in that final number there. So that concludes my portion of the presentation. So we're happy to take questions.
Thank you. If there are no questions at this time, I'm going to have them received by Councillor Mahoney, seconded by Mr. Carby. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. Takes us to item 7, 2024 Peel Police Services Board Annual Report. Chief, over to you and to the deputy.
Anthony,
Yep. Thank you, and through the chair. Chair, if you would indulge me for one moment, is it permissible to top up on the VCOM report to two quick items I completely missed? I think it's important for the minutes. The reliability on the voice network, and this is a major component of the report, is an industry standard called the 5 nines. We operate at 99.999% uptime at all times for our radio through VCOM. So that's a very important point I wanted to highlight. And secondly, on the data communications, according to a 2024 Tefficient report, Canada pays the highest data rates in the entire universe. And as such, and with this tsunami of data coming into our units, the public safety broadband network that we built here transmits data for free. We transmit about 8 terabytes, Director Ventura, is that correct? 8 terabytes of data just through our vehicles a month. And this equates to a Peel Regional Police cost avoidance of about $750,000 per year. So I think those were two important points to bring out in the VCOM report, and my apologies for missing that earlier. So thank you for that. And on to the annual report. Of course, this is the first reporting year for the board's 2024 to 27 strategic plan. It outlines the highlights and accomplishments of the Peel Regional Police over 2024 and gives the key indicators and metrics of those accomplishments. They're contained within the report, and I'm happy to answer any questions that the board feels.
Thank you. Seeing no questions at this time, receipt moved by Vice Chair Coley, seconded by Mr. Boughton. All those in favor? That is carried. And that brings us on to a follow-up report, item 16, Purchasing Policy Revision, report dated April 10, 2025, from CEO and Deputy Chief Jackson regarding a revision to the Peel Police Board's policy procurement. Deputy Jackson, anything you wanted to top up on this, please?
Sure, thank you. Through the chair, I'll be incredibly brief. As I know that the board was aware, we were working on an update. And the key pieces here is that, of course, we have, and through this, continue to mirror the procurement approaches within the policies led by our regional counterparts at the region of Peel. We worked very collaboratively with them on this to ensure that in response to tariffs,
We can shore up our ability to procure with a Canadian preference wherever feasible, but also ensure that we have agility given there are unique kind of provincial procurement agreements that we do across the sector that allow us to get best dollar value for products en masse, such as vehicles. And our policy captures that discretionary ability at my level to ensure that we balance procuring quickly and competitively while also trying to mirror a very Canadian-forward procurement approach in these times. With that, I'll leave it open for any questions.
Thank you. Seeing no questions at this time, received and approved by Mr. Khan and seconded by Mr. Carby. All those in favor, that is carried. That concludes our formal public presentation. Motion to adjourn by Mr. Carby, by Vice Chair Coley. All those in favor, that carries. Thank you all, and we will now move in camera. And I'm going to move us right along because we're getting later in the day. And so thank you to all. For those that don't need to be here in camera, thank you for attending, and we will move into camera and carry on with the in-camera portion.